Christopher Bell takes the lead with 41 laps to go here at New Hampshire and begins to creep away.
Hell yeah, C-Bell. Welcome to playoffs. Good job, guys.
It's checkered flag for Christopher Bell as he collects career win number 2 and takes a victory here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Christopher Bell is now in the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series playoff.
Hey fans, welcome to the preview show delivered by DoorDash. I'm Kim Coon alongside Alan Cavanna getting you ready for New Hampshire weekend.
New Hampshire, New England, a bunch of great race fans up there. That's where I'm from. I love this track up in New Hampshire.
Is it New Hampshire or New Hampshire?
New Hampshire, drink from the bubbler, the cars.
The lobster that you're gonna get if you get to Victory Lane. And the drivers we're watching, one of those drivers, Harvick.
Kevin Harvick. Something about Kevin Harvick and New Hampshire. Only stat you need to know, the last 5 races there, he has not finished worse than 6th place. Ooh. That includes 2 victories. Look, I know 2023, not great for Stewart-Haas Racing, not great overall for Fords, but something about New Hampshire and Kevin Harvick. The harder the racetrack is, the better Kevin Harvick is. I think like places like Darlington.
Yeah.
New Hampshire is one of those places. It's so flat, it's so tough for these drivers and teams to get a hold of. Kevin Harvick is one of those guys you have to imagine he can get the victory this season.
A flat 1-mile racetrack.
Ooh.
Kind of sounds like Phoenix.
Oh.
And Harvick is very good there.
Very good.
I do think he could be a guy that shakes things up this weekend. However, they really haven't been strong in qualifying this year. And this is a place where the leaders, they catch you really fast. So
short race too.
Yes, a short race. So if the 4 car can qualify well, hold that track position, I think they are definitely a threat for the win.
Absolutely. And look, they're running out of these shots before the playoffs to get that victory, but it looks like he's looking pretty good for the playoffs. Hope for Kevin Harvick.
Other drivers we have our eye on, the JGR drivers. This is one of the organization's best tracks. However, we haven't seen JGR in victory lane since Sonoma. Martin Truex getting that win. You had Trackhouse back-to-back, then last weekend, Hendrick Motorsports. So will we see JGR reappear in victory lane?
I think we can, obviously, only because you go back to last year. Who has won in the next gen at New Hampshire? Christopher Bell in a JGR Toyota. But you mentioned Phoenix earlier. Phoenix earlier this season, a Chevy win. Richmond, if you want to compare a little bit to New Hampshire, that was a Chevy win as well. When are we going to see this Toyota speed at the sort of shorter tracks, the flatter tracks? I don't know if it suddenly comes out of nowhere, but since those times, we have seen a Denny win. We've seen Martin Truex win a few. Christopher Bell got a win. Can they do it again? I think so, but they got to prove it to me first.
Well, it's really hard to ignore their performance last year at New Hampshire. Martin Truex Jr. led 172 laps, swept the stages before his teammate Christopher Bell got the win, and then MTJ at New Hampshire in general, he has the most laps led out of any active driver without a win there. I'm watching Christopher Bell, but I do think if you are setting your fantasy lineup, you cannot ignore the JGR cars.
Maybe another home track victory for Martin Truex Jr., wherever you want to say his home is. Well, one driver we always have to talk about, only because it's Mr. Popular, Chase Elliott. We need the big graphic or something.
A Chase tracker.
The Chase tracker. Not great news, though, for the 9 fans after Atlanta. He actually lost some position on the elimination line. He comes into this race 60 points below the elimination line, getting tougher and tougher as these opportunities go by. And now he comes to a track, New Hampshire, he's never won at before. Last year, he finished 2nd. What has me worried, though, is still that lack of speed, still that lack of qualifying, the lack of stage points running up front. 2nd is good where he finished last year, but it's getting closer and closer to that needing a win point.
Yeah, I see a solid day for the 9, possibly. I do not see a win, and that's because historically, Chase has even said New Hampshire has not been a great track for him. Up until that runner-up finish last year, it's been a really mixed bag in terms of finishes there for the 9 team. And Chase did do a lot of homework last year. He said he went back, he watched what lines drivers who perform well there take, so maybe that will help them. I just don't see the 9 in victory lane this weekend.
I wonder if Chase likes lobster.
I don't know. Does that help your chances?
Maybe it does. Look, just, start saying, I want that lobster dinner.
Well, does Rusty Wallace like lobster? Because each week we look back at a past race. It's our flashback race. We're going all the way back to the inaugural Cup Series race at New Hampshire.
I'm so glad you brought up Rusty Wallace because, yes, 30 years ago, what a welcome to New England for NASCAR. Rusty Wallace, 30 laps to go, passes Davey Allison and goes on to get the victory in the first race at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. That was Rusty's 5th win up to that point in the season. Kim, this was a shirt. This is 30 plus years old. The shirt I was wearing, promise,
Has it been washed?
It has been washed,
Okay.
but as a young Rusty fan, when he won in New Hampshire back in 1993, he would win 10 races that year. A third of the races he won, no championship.
Because that went to Dale Earnhardt.
What a travesty.
I
No,
know.
come on, Big E, but I just wanted one. I just wanted one more.
Well, while Alan dries his tears 30 years later, you guys should get excited for all the action coming to New Hampshire this weekend. Don't forget to tune in to the Crayon 301 Sunday, July 16th, 2:30 p.m. Eastern on USA.
And join us right back here on the preview show delivered by DoorDash next week. She's Kim, I'm Alan. We'll see you then.